LJ, I mean, no need for introductions. Everybody know who you are. Let's actually talk about your life before BYU.
I was locked on Stanford, and I was gonna go there. I was gonna graduate early, and they've only had like one early enrollee before that, and that was it was gonna be me and two other guys. Like we were gonna be couple first ever early enrollees at Stanford. So we were trying to go there, and Hinckley decided to run for like 1,000,000 yards on them, like 3 touchdowns or whatever. So he ended up being the reason that the head coach resigned.
No, I wasn't the reason why. It was a good game, but I wasn't the idea. That had a long time coming, bro.
He ran for like 1,000,000 yards, and the head coach resigned that night.
No. What's up, y'all? We're here with another episode Behind the Why with Center Street Media. I'm your host, Hinckley Ropati.
And I'm your co-host, Caleb Etienne. And today we have your boy, L. Wiggle, known as LJ Martin.
Mr. LJ Martin. What's up, bro? Give it up, man. Appreciate you for coming on, bro, for real, man.
So, appreciate you guys for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, so LJ, I mean, no need for introductions. Everybody know who you are. But LJ grew up in El Paso, Texas.
Yeah.
Let's actually talk about your life before BYU. Just to give you guys a little background. You look up LJ. I always do this before every episode. I kind of just look up the person and see what pops up.
Yeah.
So he was rated a 4-star prospect out of high school. He was ranked number 37 running back in the nation coming out of high school. Okay. He was the 2022 5A MVP and district champ. He ran for 2,000 yards, 2,137 yards.
Sheesh.
And 23 touchdowns as a senior.
Clock that.
Back in 22. Sheesh. He led, so you went to, what is it, Canutillo?
Yeah, Canutillo.
Canutillo, is that what it is?
Yeah,
damn, bro, you had to add that Spanish accent to it, bro. How do you say it again?
That's a Mexican.
Canutillo, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
They got a lot of Mexicans there.
Of course, it's El Paso.
It's El Paso, Texas, bro.
Yeah, come on.
So anyways, he led his high school to a Texas 5A Division II regional semifinal game, and then he also, what else he did, bro? You just got like accolades upon accolades, bro. Like I can go through this list. It's not it's probably gonna take the whole episode, but I guess what we can do is kind of talk about your upbringing with sports and kind of how you like got into sports in the first place and how that was, I guess, life in El Paso.
Yeah, just growing up, I mean, that's all I did, sports. Like me and my dad, we would just always do sports. It's funny because growing up, he said like he would never let me watch cartoons or anything unless my cousins came over, right?
Yeah.
He would just always put a sports dinner on the TV because he wanted me to grow up playing sports. So he just wanted me to always watch it and stuff.
So he was watching sports like
that's my whole life. Yeah, so I didn't. So like until my cousins came over and stuff and started hanging out with them, that's when I really started watching cartoons. But before that, it was all Sports Center. And I remember like in the mornings, like I never remember my parents watching the news. It's always ESPN. Sports Center. Yeah. So that's
Speaking
all
of which, your parents both play sports at Western New Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. So your dad was a basketball player?
Yeah.
And then what did your mom do?
She played softball.
She played softball.
My dad played JUCO at first. He went to Arizona Western. And then after that, he ended up going to Western New Mexico. And then my mom, that's where they met. So my mom played softball there. And then,
So I mean, well, obviously, so sports, it's in your guys' blood. You know what I mean? Your parents both played at the collegiate level. So obviously, I'm assuming they had aspirations for you, obviously, to play, sports and be at this level where you at. Kind of talk about your family dynamic and how important, like I guess, like their role is in your development, not just as a player but as a person.
No, they're super important. Like that's all. I mean, they're the ones that raised me. I always grew up around them. So like. All of them. Like I just had an older cousin who was like about 6 years older than me, and I always remember being around him. And he played basketball, right? And I was always trying to compete with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was like 6 years older than me, so I was like 6 years old when he was 13, 12, right? So like I just remember like going to his tournaments, always seeing him travel and stuff. Always having my basketball when I was at his tournaments, just shooting on the courts and stuff. So like it was always cool just to be around him, and I was like, I want to be like him when I grow up. I just thought like he was like the coolest guy ever.
That's so true.
So he was just like my role model growing up, just because like just seeing him play basketball. His name's Tommy.
Yeah.
And, so I'll just follow him everywhere. Like he's the one that basically taught me everything kind of, like I would say like just like video games and stuff like that. I just wanted to be like him growing up. Him and my dad were like my two role models growing up.
Yeah.
Now, do you got any siblings or that play sports?
I got a sister. She play volleyball right now, but she don't take it seriously. She likes to take it seriously, but like I would say she just started like within the last like couple years, just started taking it seriously because before that she would always like when she was younger she would start the sport and then she would just end up quitting.
Just
like
she would
always just quit. Playing for fun. So she started getting kind of serious about it lately. So I'm excited for her. She's pretty good at volleyball.
So when did you know like for you, like when did you know that football was like this is my thing? Was it a decision you made or something that like, because I'm assuming you played a lot of sports growing up, right? So to kind of talk about like the sports you played and kind of how you came to your decision or how it ended up just being like football's my thing.
Yeah, so I played basketball, football, and baseball growing up. Yeah, and I started with soccer, but I was on the team. I was on a team that spoke all Spanish, and I didn't speak Spanish. Right, so
you don't speak Spanish? Aren't you half Mexican, bro?
Yeah, but I didn't want to learn because I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I get. But your mom speaks. She's fluent in Spanish,
my mom
right?
speaks Spanish. Yeah, my mom's side of the family they all speak Spanish. And then, so growing up, they had me play on the soccer team. They all spoke Spanish. Yeah, so I lasted there for like a year because I was like, they all speak Spanish. Like I can't understand what they're saying. I'm sure, because they go from English to Spanish. So I was like, forget that. I don't want to play there no more. Yeah. So I stopped playing soccer. I started playing baseball, so I had like a team with me and my cousins and stuff. So we were playing t-ball and stuff, and then later on I got into football. So like that was like I was like 4 or 5 years old. I started playing flag football. Oh dang! And then basketball I started at like 3 or 2, and then like 3 or 4 maybe. Because I remember my mom, she always brings up this story where my dad would lie about my age so I could play basketball.
What the heck?
So like I guess like they
one of them like
kids.
4 or 3, you one of them kids.
Yeah, like 4 or 3, but I was really like so like I was younger.
You was a kid, like you got to bring a birth certificate to the freaking.
That's how it went too, bro. People thought I was like 20 years old.
Bro, this big old kid over here, bro. Like you better bring his birth certificate to every single game, every single tournament, bro.
Yeah, but I was always really big growing up, so I would be able to play up and no one would ever like question
say anything. Okay, so you played up.
Yeah, I would play up because I wanted. So like there's like an age limit, so like you couldn't be so young to play the game, right? Yeah. So my dad would lie about my age, say I'm like 4 when I'm really 3, so I could be able to be registered and stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. So you played up. Okay. Now there's some value in like playing in like tougher competitions, like better competitions. I feel like in my opinion, especially as a younger athlete, like for your development is so much better. Like I feel like having older cousins and like being around older athletes, people that I played with, even whether at church or family and things of that sort, like I feel like that's helped a lot in my development as a player. Like, I mean, you're more competitive. And so when I go down to play my age, like you had an edge, you know what I mean?
It was like, like everyone's, they're a year younger. So like once you go from playing up to down, it's like they're a year younger. So exactly. It just slows the whole game down.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
So it makes it way easier.
No, that's dope, bro.
But going back to your question, like I played baseball and then football and basketball. Yeah. So I started all those sports, and then I stopped playing baseball like when I was in 5th grade. Yeah. Just because they started throwing curveballs. And once they started throwing curveballs, I couldn't understand it. So like the ball would go from here and it would just drop. And I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So I just quit because I couldn't hit it. And I was just struggling. So I remember that. I went on. I was pretty good. Yeah. I was like first hitter and stuff. And then, so I went from that and I started batting like low, and I was just like, forget this. I'm just gonna do basketball and football. Yeah. And then so I started playing basketball, and then I would play up with this team called the Hustle. One of them, the point guard, he plays D1 for UTEP right now. And then the other one, he's actually the safety at Iowa State, number 4.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Your boy. Yeah.
So I played with those guys growing up. So yeah. And then, so they actually really helped my development a lot, just playing up and stuff. And they were really athletic and, just showed me like there's like another level to this, So yeah, just playing with those guys, I really started to understand the game more and stuff like that. So I played with them like up until like, I would say like 6th grade. And then I started playing with a team my age, right? So my dad started coaching us and stuff like that. But then throughout that, I was always playing football, but I would just play football when it was football season. Yeah. Other than that, I was basketball.
You were always involved. Okay.
Like I was even getting shots up during football season. But like once football season ended, I wouldn't touch a football until it's the next football season.
For real. Mm-hmm. So you was really like basketball was like your sport, huh?
Basketball was my thing. Yeah. So growing up, I did that, and then I actually ended up playing like against Bronny James.
Rob that's crazy. Like in high school or like in AAU tournaments or what?
In AAU tournaments, like 7th, 8th grade. That's when I played those guys, just getting out there and stuff.
So what was your stats looking like at AAU tournaments, bro?
My AAU tournaments?
Don't be lying, bro. Look this
You can't find them, but I was doing all right. I wasn't nothing crazy, though. I would say, like, I was like a true point guard. That's what I would say, like, my game was, like, I was able to get to the basket on pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
But then, like, I would always make the right play, end up, like, kicking it out just because. Or like if I had to lay up, I would go up with it.
So you was a rim runner. You couldn't really shoot.
I could shoot sometimes, depending on the day, I was able to shoot. Yeah. That happened, and then once COVID happened, that's when I really started. First it was my freshman year of high school, so I ended up playing varsity football. At first I was on JV, and then I got moved up to varsity, and I played pretty well.
Yeah.
And then same thing for basketball. I played varsity basketball my freshman year, and then the COVID happened, so I had to sit out. So basically, I sat out a year of AAU basketball.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what like really started getting me into football. Because I did football my sophomore year. So doing football my sophomore year, like I had a really good season, and there's a guy named KJ Cooper. He's the quarterback at Southern, I think Texas Southern right now.
Okay.
Anyways, he's one of my friends growing up, and he's like huge, like he's a big kid, like, and he was really nice to me and stuff like that. Like he was one of my really good friends, and he actually got me like started with all the 7-on-7 stuff. Like he's teaching me like, you got to go to camps to get recruited and stuff like that. So he got me into contact with coach Demery Lodge.
Yeah,
I believe that's his last name. But yeah. It was the one that you met the other day.
Is that the one that met at the locker room?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, so he got me in contact with him. So he started telling me, you got to do this. You got to go to camp. So he set up the cold camp season for me, kind of, helped me out with that. Him and my uncle Will. So we did that. And
who played basketball too at
he played football.
He played football?
Yeah.
At the same school, right? As your parents or what?
He played at University of New Mexico.
Oh, University of New Mexico. Okay, because your parents played at Western New Mexico, right? Okay, yeah.
So he played D1 at University of New Mexico. And he was actually like a coach for New Mexico State for a little bit, DB coach. Yeah. So I was around him growing up a lot. So he actually helped me out a lot with football too.
Yeah.
And then, getting with them, and they just helped my dad kind of set up the camp schedule and stuff like that. And then we ended up doing camps and stuff like that. So that really helped out a lot. And then, but before that, actually, my bad.
No, you're straight.
We were, what were we doing? So I went on an AAU tournament. This was the first time like in a year that I had played AAU. So I went on the AAU tournament, and I did all right. I was playing with a team from Albuquerque who I played with a lot. That's why I ended up playing like Bronny again.
Yeah.
Playing Bronny with.
So probably a solid team, right?
But I ended up doing all right, but like it was nothing crazy, like I didn't have the best tournament. And then like the last game I did, right? So then I got in the car with my dad, and I was like, hey, I think we should just focus on football, right? So then that happened. That was like at the beginning of May. And then in June, we had the camps to go to, right? Yeah. So we went to Texas State. In Texas State, I was struggling. Like, I just didn't have a good camp. Like, I guess it was just nervous. It was my first one. So the next one, I was just like, all right, whatever. It can't get worse from here, right? Like, I had already made my dad mad. How he gets after you and stuff. And I had broke his headphones, too. Well, like, I didn't break them, but how the airports had, like, silicone tip? I accidentally, like,
tore the silicone off?
It fell off. So like I tried to hide it, so like he was already mad and stuff. So I was like, man, so I was like, man, I just got to go out there and do my best, So sure enough, I just was like, whatever happens. So I was at SMU, I was running a 40 and stuff. I don't know, I never got my time back for that, but a coach with the OU hat just came up to me and he was like, hey, like what's your name? Where are you from? What's your class? Right. So I say all that. Right. So I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be checking you out throughout the day. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like. Whatever, it's not going to happen. Like, that's the first college coach I've ever talked to.
Oh, for
right? So, like, I'm like, whatever. So, I'm doing the drills and stuff. We go do the drills. He's watching me, taking videos and stuff. So, I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, he's actually recording me, right? So, then after that, I talked to him. We exchanged information. He's like, yeah, my name is DeMarco Murray, and I'm the running back coach for Oklahoma. Yeah.
No way.
So that was
Marco
the first-
Murray?
Yeah,
That's
that was
crazy.
the first coach I
That's
talked to, right?
That's wild.
So then the
Because
next
they'll
week,
have other recruits there too, huh?
yeah, there was like
Like
a whole
other
bunch
coaches.
because it was the SMU mega camp. So like
Yeah.
there's everyone there,
Yeah.
right? So
That's
that was
cool.
like,
But DeMarco Murray, bro, to be the guy, him, like
I
to be the
know.
one there, like
that's
that's
big
a
time.
legend,
That's
bro.
huge,
yeah, I
That's
couldn't
crazy.
believe it. I was like, there's no way, like, right? So like after that, my dad was super happy. You know, like he was happy about it.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah.
yeah. So
Gave
then
you.
the next week we went to Oklahoma because he had invited me out for the camp, so we
Yeah.
went. And then you know, like I was like, it was crazy because I saw like, you know, you're still in high school, so I see like Spencer Rattler and I see like,
Yeah.
you know, like
these big
all these
names that you
guys,
see
you know?
watching on TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's like crazy to me, you know, because coming from El Paso, like I
Yeah.
mean, there's not a lot of like big time dudes out there. You know,
Yeah,
we got
yeah,
Aaron
yeah.
Jones, and I would say that probably that's about it. You
Yeah.
know, like you don't
Uh-huh.
ever see no like you
Yeah,
know,
like big,
pro
like names that
athletes
make
or-
it out a lot,
Yeah.
right? You ain't got really, yeah. No.
Yeah, so that was like crazy to me, like to actually see these guys in person.
Mhm.
And then so I went to that Oklahoma camp, just did all right, didn't do nothing crazy. And then the next week I went to, and then that's actually when I got my first offer. The airport going to Oklahoma camp. I got offered by UTSA because they were talking to me from the SMU camp after
Yeah,
DeMarco
yeah.
Murray talked to me.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, so I did that. And then after that, we went to a UTSA camp because we already had the schedule.
Yeah.
And then we went to a Baylor camp. And it was actually crazy because, you know, we went to that Baylor camp and I was just recruited by like some GA, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, hey, like just come to the camp, you know. I guess he was like looking at me as a receiver. He's like, I want you, like you go with the running backs at first, but like
Yeah.
if they don't want you there, you could just come to receiver. So then, sure enough, I'm doing well enough with the running backs and I'm killing it over there. And, you know, they end up like calling my parents down. They want to talk to me. And, you know, I have one offer at the time and I'm from El Paso. So everyone
Yeah.
has like this negative stigma, like,
Uh-huh.
oh, he's from El Paso.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I did that. Then I went to a camp at Alabama. And then we did that camp. And then I flew back to Baylor because they were like, we want you for an unofficial visit. So I came back for that unofficial visit and I ended up getting offered by Baylor. That was my first P5 offer. And then
Yeah.
after that, it just took off.
It just took off from there,
Yeah,
right?
Oh,
Once
he
you got
needed,
Baylor.
bro. I know that feeling was good. He was smiling.
Yeah, especially
No,
when you get
that's
that
crazy.
first like big school, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's all it takes.
I remember my first big offer, boy. Like it was
Yeah.
yesterday. I was so excited.
Yeah,
Nah.
there ain't nothing like it,
No,
bro.
it's nothing
Yeah.
like it. Like once you get that offer, like
Right.
even like the first one is crazy. Like
Yeah.
you know, like you just feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got that Baylor one, man. I was like, you know, and once you get like that first big offer, like that's all you think
Everything
about.
starts
Yeah.
rolling.
Like,
yeah,
I mean, that was like,
oh, that's all
after
you
that,
think
I was
about.
like,
Yeah.
You
I
just
was
on
like,
cloud
I wanna
nine,
go,
like
yeah, I was
everything.
like, after that, I was like, man, I want to go to Baylor.
I
Like,
made
you're not
it.
even thinking
Yeah,
nothing
like,
else,
bro,
you know?
what?
Yeah.
So
It's
then,
just-
yeah.
Yeah, because all the hard work
Mhm.
that you think about it, like everything that you sacrificed, all the hard work your parents paid off
Yeah.
to get an offer, you know what I mean, to get your school paid for and be able to play at any P5 program, bro, it's like it's a blessing. So it's like when that happens and you get your first one, it's just like, man, I can't believe it. Like
Yeah.
this is really happening. You know what I mean? Like I'm really gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be playing on TV, doing all these things that I've dreamt about since I was young. And
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
but then again, so let's talk about that because that's actually takes us right into our next question. Is like, because you got recruited by plenty of other schools, you know what I mean, like Stanford, and I think you had other, you know, Kansas and Kansas State and things of that sort. Kind of talk about like your recruitment process. You've already talked about your recruitment process. I guess like talk about why BYU? Because like if I remember correctly, do you remember when you came on your visit?
Yeah.
And then
It was around this time.
It was around this
I remember
time.
him too.
yeah, you came around this time, bro, and I just remember thinking like, oh, what the heck? Like this dude, I was like, just a big old kid. He came over here and he's like, I think you were a junior at that time, right?
No, I was a senior.
You're about to be.
Yeah.
Were you a senior?
I was a senior.
you
I
were a
finished
senior.
playing
You
my
just
senior
finished
year,
playing.
and
I remember-
and the signing day was like
That's right.
the next week, or the
Yeah.
next 2 weeks.
But at that time, but I do remember like earlier we were told before you got here, it was like, oh, this kid was committed to Stanford. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and then now he's just kind of like he opened up his recruitment again and stuff like that, or like now you're looking again because after the whole thing happened with Stanford that year and the
Mhm.
coach, you know what I mean, stepped down and so forth. So kind of talk about why you ended up at BYU and kind of your thought process on choosing to be a Cougar, man.
Well, yeah, I was locked on Stanford, and you know, I was gonna go there. I was gonna graduate early, and they've only had like one early enrollee before that, and
Yeah.
that would like it was gonna be me and two other guys. Like we were gonna be like a couple
Yeah.
of like the first ever like early enrollees at Stanford. So we were trying to go there, and then Hinckley decided to run for like 1,000,000 yards on him, with, like 3 touchdowns or whatever. So
Heck no.
he ended up being the reason that
the head coach resigned.
No, I wasn't the reason why. It was a good game, but I wasn't that had a long time coming, bro.
He ran for like 1 million yards, and the head coach resigned that night.
No.
So once the head coach resigned, so like you know how it goes. Like
it happened right after our game against them. Like we played
right after
at Stanford.
Yeah.
Literally, we got to the locker room. And like I'm not even kidding, bro. All the coaches like spread really quickly in the locker room. We're still changing to leave Stanford in the locker room, and they said Coach Shaw just stepped down as Stanford's head coach, and he's a, you know, freaking legendary coach at Stanford. You know what I mean? He's done great things. He has some great players that played there. Christian McCaffrey, other notable names that played at that. You know what I mean? And so like it was just crazy. It was a big news. We're like, bro, we can't believe this guy's not there. And so and then I remember it was crazy because I do remember Coach Harvin talking about, I was like, oh man, I got someone I got to talk to or something like that, or like, and I'm pretty sure it was this kid, bro.
After that happened, and then you know I was just like, dang, and then you know, so like my running back coach, he was like, he was thinking about staying, but he ended up leaving. He went somewhere else, so he went to San Diego State, and then now he actually coaches for the Rams.
LA Rams is right.
Right. So after that happened, I was like, well, I need to find somewhere else, you know. So I had a whole bunch of schools recruiting me and stuff, and you know, at that point, I was just like, I'm tired of you getting like recruited. You know, I just want somewhere where it's going to be like genuine, just good people around me. Because, you know, I've had plenty of coaches like say stuff and then, you know, just
promise things
and
they're
just lying and stuff like that, just saying a whole bunch of stuff, you know. So like, I'm like, forget that. I just want somewhere where they're going to be real with me. And, you know, Coach Harvey or Coach Tyson ended up texting me, and my dad called me right after they texted me. He was like, hey, coach from BYU texted. He's going to text your phone because he helped me run my Twitter, my dad. He's like, make sure you say yes. Whatever you say, just say yes, you're interested. Yeah. Because they get these big old Polynesian dudes and they're going to block their butts off. Shit. Be like, man, you know, smash mouth football. Right. So I was like, all right, then. So I listened to him. So I just said I was interested, whatever. Like, I didn't really care for them. Like, it was like, you know, like, it was just like, whatever. So then I just ended up meeting Coach Harvey. He came down to my school and then to my house. He had a home visit. It was him and Matt Mitchell. Yeah. So just talking to them, it was like, it seemed pretty cool, you know, and then just came out here on the visit and then just felt how genuine it is, you know, like guys like this, like, you know, I would say like, this is the most real dude I've ever met, you know, like I would say like almost like the model human being.
I still remember when LJ Hella came out and coach was telling us like, hey man, we need this kid, this beast. And it's funny because that was the last, I think I told him this, he was the last recruit that I ever hosted. And it was me. And just because like, it's not that it was just like, man, I had a bad experience when I was like, yeah, I'm good off of these recruits. Some of them feel like they hella entitled and stuff like that. And then coaches all like, hey, nah, this kid. And some of them, I'm gonna be honest, man, some of the recruits are being like, me and the boys will watch the highlights first, like, all right, you know, he's good enough to like, you know, who think was someone that, worth it, whatever. And so when coach came up to us about LJ, it was like me and Chris, we watched his highlights and everything. So I was like, oh no, this is gonna be a beast. Let's get him. Hey coach, we got you. We'll get him. We'll get him to commit. Don't worry. And I remember we went to go pick this guy, and like I'm telling you, bro, this kid was just humble, like super genuine. You know what I mean? You can tell he was trying to find a place where he just wanted to play ball. Right, like he wasn't chasing anything else but to be great and be a great football player. And I think that's one thing that me and Chris, we like connected with him right off the bat. And I remember pitching to him like, bro, we got a great O-line. Like I'm just like, I remember telling him that like, our O-line is good, bro. Like, and then we getting so-and-so next year and this and that, like they're going to be solid, bro. Like you gonna have some hogs run behind, you know what I mean? And these and that sort. And so I remember leaving that what's it called? That recruitment trip or after like, you know, being done with that. And I remember thinking like, man, if we get this kid, bro, it's gonna be GG's. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, shoot, lo and behold, look what he's doing now. You feel me? Like, it's not a surprise to a lot of us that met him before he even got here that he's doing what he's doing now. You know what I mean? As a true freshman, he did what he did. Came out, was a leading rusher as a true freshman.
Surpassed 1,000 rushing yards. Boy.
Bro, balling out this year, surpassed total career rushing yard, 1,000 rushing yards. He's gonna easily get 1,000 next year. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's nothing surprise for any of us. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just meeting LJ right off the rip. And so I guess LJ, that kind of goes to like into our next question. Like now being here at BYU, you know what I mean? What is it that makes BYU different or unique for you? Like just in your past couple of years being here, and a couple of seasons being here.
I would say genuine players, like you know, like just Hinckley, Miles, like when he was here, like Miles Davis. And, like, you know, like you just don't come across these guys like every day. You know, like I never met someone like you guys where like, you know, like you truly want the best for someone else. Like, you know, like no matter what it is, like, you know, if it's like, if I'm balling, you know, like you guys are genuinely happy. Like, you know, like you guys are really happy for me and stuff like that. Like I've never met someone who's like,
you know what's crazy about that though too is like I felt like that's one thing that attracted me to BYU too, was like the biggest, like besides being a member of the church. I mean, for my personal reasons, but it's really just because like the genuine like feelings of like brotherhood that we have on the team. Like I don't know about y'all, but like no matter what, at the end of the day, is like I've talked to other my boys that play at other, you know, P5 programs, and they'll talk about the time. It's a dog eat dog world, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like you mess with the guys in the locker room, they hang out and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like they always feel like they're competing, and like they get close to a certain extent. But I feel like here at BYU, bro, I feel like I'm close with like even the kickers, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, these players that is like, they have that stigma of like not being as important, but really like these people, like, I feel like everyone is rooting for each other. And I think that's the thing that makes our running back room. And I think it's the same all across to every position group. But like for us, speaking with running backs, like, bro, nothing makes me more happier to see him ball out. If anything, it motivates me to go out there and get one. You know what I mean? Like LJ go break a long runs, like, bro, I better go do something. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't know how to explain it, but LJ can attest to this. I feel like we feed off of each other. You know what I mean? Especially like in games when we're rolling and things of that sort, bro. It makes me so happy when I see this dude break one, because then it knows like, oh yeah, then I can break one. I can go do this. And then when I do it, I know I was like this. Oh, let's go. You know, you know what I mean? And then it's just a matter of like building each other up. And at the end of the day, the most important thing to us is winning games.
Yeah, and I think that's what just makes us like such a great team.
Exactly.
You know, like we're just able to feed off each other. You know, and like I feel like we're competitive with each other, but we always want the best out of each other. You know, like
facts.
I want to be better than Hinckley, but I want Hinckley at his best. I'm able to say I'm better than Hinckley at his best.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't want so I'm not going to tell Hinckley like, oh, like you got this on this play when it's really not that. You know? But I feel like other places, like, you know, sometimes you may get that.
People preying on each other's downfall, and like
you like hoping they mess up. Like, nah, like I want Hinckley to go out there and be his best, but like then I still want to like do better. You know, and then Hinckley wants the same thing. He's like, exactly. Oh, I want LJ to go out there rush for 100. But I'm gonna rush for 101.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then after I see Hinckley rush for 101, I'm like, I'm gonna get 102.
Facts.
You know, just like back and forth like that. And it's like it's competition, but you want it the best of each other. You know,
and I think what drives that too is like is also just the agenda of like us wanting to win, like just like the. I feel like we all have that common goal. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, like when you're winning, it solves a lot of problems, man. You know what I mean? And so like at the end of the day, when we can walk away knowing that we helped the team in some way or form to win that game, I think that's all that really matters. And so, but yeah, bro, shoot. I mean,
no, facts, bro. The culture of like this whole team is just different though. Like you could just tell. And also that's why I was going to ask you, like, how has that like helped you or like shaped you, I guess, or like had any effects on you?
No, it's helped me a lot just because, like, you know, coming where I come from, like, I didn't really know football.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being honest with you, I couldn't tell you what the different fronts are. I couldn't tell you, like, if it's
like football IQ wise, it wasn't as
I couldn't tell you, like, you know, like I just knew odd or even. That's really good, you know, like 3-4, 4-3, and I just knew it from Ed. You know? So like I didn't really understand all this. So like, you know, just coming here, just being able to like really learn from guys like Hinckley and stuff like that, you know, and they're trying to like really help you. So that's what really helped me out. But I mean, you could attest to it, like, you know, you've been other places, so like, you know, you could feel like
facts, most definitely.
If it's real out here or like, you know, so,
everything. Most definitely.
No, facts, bro. So like now that you're obviously doing what you're doing now, right? You've been here for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Balling, performing great. I think the next question is like what advice would you give to like, I guess like the younger cats, you know, people, maybe kids that are in El Paso, you know what I mean? Like, not just the youngins and like part of Cougar Nation that's going to watch this, but even the kids back home that's been your situation, grew up in the same similar setting as you.
Or they may even look up to you.
Exactly. They're probably looking up to you and stuff like that. Like what goals or what advice you probably would give them to help them achieve their dreams and get to where, you know?
I would just tell them the work works, you know, like the work you put in is going to work. Like, you know, like it's going to show, you know, like it might not show at first. Cause I mean, well, I remember growing up, like I would get mercy ruled in the championship game all the time. You know, it's not like I was like always the best player. like in the city or whatever, you know.
Mercy rule's crazy, bro.
Yeah, we got mercy rule. And it was before halftime, too.
The mercy rule, for those who don't know, that's when basically they stopped the game because the score is just, they ran it up so badly. So you saying that you've got mercy rule before. So you've been in a situation where you're on the receiving end of that.
It was 4th grade. So like my team, so we were the West Side Eagles.
Yeah.
And it's like actually like a little program that kind of feeds into high school.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like we had never made, so there's this thing called the Little Bowl. So at the time, like they never made a Little Bowl, right? So my team, like when I was like, because they played by 2 years, so like it was like 4th and 3rd graders. Like, they played, right? So like they're all on one team. So I was the 4th grade. It was like my 4th grade year, so we were the older guys, and we finally made it to the Little Bowl, right? And there was this Bandits team, and they always like beat us down or whatever. You know, they would always just beat us, right? So we were like, oh shoot, like we made it to the Little Bowl, like we have a chance to like really win, you know, like. And this program had never made it. Like, they've been there for like 10, 15 years, I would say. So, man, like, we were excited to go play. And, man, it just, I don't know what happened. We just lost 42-0 or like something like that. It was like 36-0 at half. Like, it was bad. We were struggling. I remember, and we still bring it up, like, a couple of me and my friends, because there's a like a highlight reel on YouTube for the other team. So you just see me like missing tackles, getting my ankles broke, like they're going for a 60-yard touchdown. It's crazy.
That's
but you know, just like, but you know, I just took that like as learning moments and stuff, you know, and it's just like going out there and competing, you know, no matter what happens, just get back up and go again, you know, because like not every day is going to be the best. And sometimes, you know, they're not going to have the best day. You know, you can't bet on them playing their best that day just because you don't know what's going to happen. That's what we play the game, right? So just knowing that, I was like, man, I got to go out there and compete, you know? So I just kept on competing. And finally, so like that team, they kind of feed into this one high school. So I played in my junior year in high school, and man, we were killing them. We were up like 28-7, I think, and they ended up almost coming back on us. It was like 35-35. And it was some crazy stuff. I remember because the center snapped the ball and he just rolled in the back of the end zone because we were backed up. So we were in the gun. He snaps the ball. Safety. They did like they motioned me out of the backfield, and he just like rolls back, and they recovered it for a touchdown.
No way, bro.
So it ended up being 35-35.
Little things, little dumb things, so,
it ended up going to overtime, and then I got a pick in overtime. And then after that pick, we ended up scoring and winning the game, and we finally beat that team. But that was just like a learning experience, and it was just like, you know, it just showed me like, you know, like I could always like just do the work, and it's gonna show sometimes, you know. Like it might not show at first, I might not, you know. So like coming to college, I was like, it might not show at first, you know, but I just got to keep on working because eventually it's gonna show. It's gonna show. You know, like my time's gonna come, and when I get the opportunity, I got to go make the most out of it.
Bro, I'm a firm believer in like what you do like in the dark, like what you do, you know what I mean, when no one's watching, when no one's looking, is going to be brought into the light, you know, later on when you're performing out there on the field. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of times I feel like with the new generation of like, you know, like NIL and everything that's happening right now, I feel like new generation of athletes, like it's a common thing to post workouts and to like, you know what I mean, do all these things of like, oh yeah, I'm getting work and I'm doing this. But like one thing that I think I forgot who said this. It was a Hall of Famer in the NFL, but he talked about the importance of just like really just working, just work when nobody is watching. You know what I mean? Doing everything that you're supposed to be doing and more when nobody's looking. And then when you do that, when it's time to play and time to, you know, to ball out in the limelight, like you're ready. You know what I mean? All that hard work is displayed. You know what I mean? And so I think it just, I mean, I think I can sum it up to that, you know what I mean? Not just like working, but at the same time, understanding that, you know, you win some and you learn some. That is one thing that I feel like has been, it sounds like something that's been, I guess, how would you say, a mantra in your life, that like, you know, the most important thing is like, it's not necessarily the results of whatever the game is, things of that sort. It's what you take away from and get better after that. You know what I mean? And I feel like 100%. You've done that your entire life. And the thing is, people don't understand, you know what I mean? You continue to do that even when you get, especially more when you get into this level, you know what I mean? It's not like you get here and it's like, oh, you made it, you know what you're doing, this and that. And like, no, it's crazy how you continuously like you're continuing to be a student of the game, no matter what level you're playing. Even when you get to the league, you know what I mean. You're constantly evolving, you're constantly learning, and I think that's the biggest thing as anyone that's trying to be successful in anything, right? It's just be really just trying to constantly learn every single day, and you know what I mean. Just put in the work that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm just doing the work every day. Like, you know, it's going to show up. You're just stacking little days on little days, and then you got to be big. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, you know, you always see the Instagram workouts and stuff like that, but that's just something that I've always seen them like. I've never liked, you know, because I mean, I wouldn't want people to know when I'm working. Cause, you know,
exactly.
If I'm competing against someone out there, you know, I don't want them to know that.
Like what I'm doing.
Putting in extra work, you know. They'd be like, "Oh, he's putting in extra work.
I'm putting in a little bit more."
Yeah, I know. So I was like, I never wanted to do that because I was like, I want to work, and then I don't want them to know. So when we line up,
I got the advantage.
Like, you know, like what has he been doing and stuff like that.
No, I get you, bro. Like I'm like big on that too. Like I feel like a lot of the times when like workouts get posted, like I always feel obligated to like repost people who like I work out with, and you know, they post videos like, dang, I hate like reposting stuff like that, just because like I don't want people knowing that I'm working or I'm doing something, you know what I mean? But it's like, dang it, but they're working me out for free, so like it's kind of like a give relationship type deal. But like I totally love that mindset, you know what I mean? Like just working in the dark, just getting everything done behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And then when I show up to play, like you're gonna see the results of it, you know what I'm saying? That's hella dope, bro.
But I have a question. Like, what was your your nutritionist like coming into college? Like, because obviously like, you wasn't that big, but like how you is now. When I first saw you, like I don't think you was this big. So like, how was that? What was your mindset? I guess
nutrition wise,
to come like get your body right and just getting big. Obviously, you know the strength staff gonna get you right, but like just was you like trying to bulk up? Obviously, you're trying to bulk up so you could be able to compete, but what was that whole process like?
It was just like, you know,
some guys still skinny. That's on the squad.
It was just coming in and just listening to people, you know, because they didn't know best. Like, I've never done this, you know, like I've had family members that, you know, like my dad, he's like, I've never done this. So when you go there, like you got to listen to them because I've never done it. And no one else like has ever done it. So like, you know, you could listen to us, but we don't know what we're saying because we never played at that level or we never, you know, we've never been to where you're trying to get. So, you know, don't listen to someone that's never been where you're trying to get. So like listen to guys like Sky who work with guys like that. You know, Coach Phillips who have worked with guys like that. You know, Dan who have worked with guys like that. Like, you know, it's just like, you just got to take what they're saying and you just got to apply it because, I mean, you never done, like I've never done it. So it's like, well, how am I going to tell them if they're right or wrong?
Exactly.
You know, like, and it's just the same like everywhere, you know, like I would, you know, maybe I would listen to you, you know, because both of you guys are both about to go to the NFL, but like, you know, but before that, like, you know, maybe you don't take what they're saying. You take what they're saying, you listen, but you don't take it as like, as from word, you know, as like
hardcore facts. You know what I mean? It's really just, you pick apart like, what's going to benefit me. And then the rest of it is kind of like it's just right, bro. Like the best is about like you seek the best advice from those who's done it before, been there, done that. You know what I mean? Because they understand what it takes to get there. You know what I mean? They've been in that. So that
like,
makes sense.
You hear guys coming in like, oh, I don't want to be so big because, you know, I'm scared of losing fat, like not losing fat, but like losing my speed and stuff like that, not being as fast. But, you know, these guys know like what you need to be successful and what you need not to be successful. You know,
especially in this conference, bro.
Especially like even my running back coach, he's played in the NFL. Like, you know, so he knows. Our head coach has played in the NFL, so he knows what it takes.
Exactly.
Like, you know, so they all know what it takes. So you just got to listen. You just got to put your pride to the side and just really take what they're saying and just try to apply it the best you can. Because I mean, that's what's going to get you to the next level. Like I could do whatever I want, all I want, but you know, like if I did that, I mean, I wouldn't be here right now. You know? Like if I just did what I want, like, you know, not listening to my dad, like when he's telling me, oh, like you need to work out or like, you know, and, you know, he was just always there as like a little reminder, but I took it upon myself because I was like, I always told my dad, like, I wanted to be the best. Like, I want to try to be the best. No matter what I do, like, I'm going to try to compete to be the best. And he'd always remind me, like, you know, so like, say, like, I had a workout. He's like, all right, you know, like, you know, you need to work out, right? So he just remind me, like, hey, did you work out today? Yes or no and stuff like that, or like, hey, you need to start lifting again or whatever. So, you know, just listen to stuff like that. And I listened to him in high school because he had been to a level where I never was. You know, like, I never played at the collegiate level. I was still in high school, so
exactly.
You know, listening to him and That's just something he taught me. Just always listen to the guys like above you, like because they've
always
been
listen
there,
to the people that have seen it and been to where you're trying to get to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. Like, you know what I mean? Don't like really listen to those who are in the same level as you are trying to, you know what I mean? Because for the most part, they're trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, you know what I mean? And they're trying to do what they think is best for them. But the best thing to do is just listen to those who, like you said, like been there, done that, you know what I mean? And I think we've been blessed to be around, you know what I mean? A lot of people who've been there and done that, or at least been with people who's doing it right now, or been there, done that too, right? We got the staff and the strength staff and everybody. And I think, like you said, man, I feel like I feel like that's the recipe for success, is listening to that, applying, not just listening, but applying those things. And then, you know what I mean? Just doing that consistently. You know what I'm saying? But I guess before we end this last, this episode, I guess one question we can end on for you, LJ, is like, what is something that you wish you knew? I guess like coming back from when you first got here to college and then your 2 years of being here, what's something you feel like you would go back and tell your old self, or you probably just had it all figured out? I don't know, but I mean, like, what is something that what is, I guess, like, just to end off, like, one piece of advice that you wish somebody would have told you when you first got here that you feel like it's benefited you the most, or whatever it may be?
I would say there's something I was always taught growing up, which is always be humble and hungry. Like, I remember coming in as a freshman and just, like, I thought I was going to redshirt. Like, I didn't think I was no good, because, you hear everything from everyone else. Like, oh, you're from El Paso. Like, they don't play real football in El Paso. Like, like, they're no good. Like, that's stuff I heard, So, like, just hearing that, and then, just being out here. So I was really nervous coming out here, because I didn't know, like, how good you guys were, or if I was even going to be able to compete, So just coming in, I was like, really just paying attention to everything, trying to learn as much as I can, just trying to do everything the right way.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, and I was like, every day, like, I might not be the best, but like every day I'm going to compete. I'm just going to come in, do my best for that day. Then I'm going to come the next day, do my best that day.
Yeah.
And, I'm just going to try to do everything that.
Keep stacking those good days. And I think that's so true, LJ. I think that's, I can attest to, like, what you're saying right now, because I saw you come in. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I remember when you first got here, and I remember the mentality and just your eyes. I actually see it in your eyes, the way you approach the game. You definitely came in with and I remember one time we had a conversation in the hot tub. He was like, man, when I first came here, man, I remember seeing so-and-so and so-and-so. And then these players, some of them are not even here anymore. Players that are, like, you know what I mean, not even playing anymore, or something like that.
Like some of the walk-on, like, there's walk-on Chase Hopkins, Like, he was here, and, he was a walk-on. He ended up quitting before fall camp last year. But I remember coming in and, just watching them all do the thing. I was just like, oh, man, like, look at how fast he moves. Like, he was a little bit bigger guy. He was moving fast. I was like, dang, look at how fast he moves, So I was like, I was nervous. I was like, man, all these guys are going to be ahead of me, just like, but that's the mentality I always had, like, everyone has something, So like, I got to do something that makes me stand out, So like, if that's doing the extra work to try to be faster, whatever, just trying to do whatever I can to be great.
That's A1 advice, bro. I think any type of situation you go into, especially a new situation where, like you coming in as a freshman, having that mentality of being, or just having the humility, just being humble and being hungry, you know what I mean? Like, that solves a lot of problems, you know what I mean? When you have that, like, it solves a lot of, problems with, with the way the coaches view you and things of that sort. And I think just being able to have that type of mindset sets you up for success, because of, you're not coming in like, hoorah, hoorah, I'm this guy and this guy. No, you coming in as a person to learn and to get better, and just continuing to perfect or work on your craft little by little. You know what I mean? And I think that's a huge, I can attest, that's a huge reason why you are where you are now. And so, but yeah, bro, man, come in, yours.
No, we appreciate you, for coming on, hopping on, sharing your stuff.
Yeah, bro, dropping the gems again, bro. Everybody that's been on here has been sharing some good stuff that I feel like will help, Cougar Nation not only better understand who they are as a person, but really help the younger generation. You know what I mean? Just get some inspiration on what they can do to be where they want to be, wherever it is in life. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you, man. LJ, we appreciate you again. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you, brother.
You want to sign us off?
Another episode of Inside the Y with LJ Martin. with Center Street Media as well. You can watch us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. And like always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy. Till next time.